Hi everyone, my name is Amy Paulson. I'm the summer camp manager at Stone Canyon Outdoor Adventures. We're so excited to have your camper join us this summer for overnight camp. Wanted to put together this video to share some details and answer some frequently asked questions about camp. A little bit of background about me. So I have been at Stone Canyon since 2018. I started here seasonally. I've been the director of the summer camp program since 2021. Do want to let you know, as the summer is drawing closer, we will be sending about weekly emails to you with pertinent information about camp, a lot of which I will go over in this video presentation. But keep an eye on your inboxes. Sometimes emails from our registration network, Active, are flagged as spam or junk. So take a look there and mark emails from Active as safe so you receive future communication from us. We'll go ahead and get going with the presentation. Wanted to start by talking about our staff at Stone Canyon. So all of our staff are a minimum of 18 years old. Our staff are first aid and CPR certified and provide all supervision and activity facilitation. Our staff participate in 2 weeks of staff training to prepare for the summer. We review how our activities run. We also go over things like child psychology, group management, how to run things in the cabin, the full spectrum of things that staff will need to be prepared for the summer. All of our staff are Douglas County School District employees. So Stone Canyon is owned and operated by the school district. Because of that, all of our staff are district employees and go through the same Douglas County Sheriff's Department background checks. They undergo state and federal background checks. Also at camp, we follow the rule of 3, meaning that nobody is ever alone with anybody at any given time, whether that is 2 campers, a staff member, and a camper. Any of those combinations, we always make sure that there are 3 people present. Staff carry radios at all times that we use for communication across our property. And we also have a 1400 megahertz radio at camp that we can use to communicate directly with DCSD security if needed, or communicate with law enforcement if needed. Our expectations at camp all center around respect. So we go over these expectations with campers on the first day of camp. We give regular reminders about them. At camp, we expect campers to respect themselves, other people, and the environment. So we spend some time talking about how each of those different respects plays out at camp and situations where it might come up. If we have campers that are struggling with respect of any of those areas, they'll first have a conversation with their counselor, then camp administration if needed. If the problem persists, we will call home. Our priority is camper safety, physical, mental, and emotional safety. And if a camper is behaving in a way that is not safe to themselves or the others, we will send them home. As far as arrival, so arrival for overnight camp takes place on Sundays from 1:30 to 3:00 p.m. It's kind of an open check-in time, and so campers are welcome to arrive anytime in that window. For check-in, there are several stations that campers will need to go through. So first, checking in with myself to make sure all of our required paperwork is in. We do a check to make sure we have a list of anybody authorized to pick up campers, as well as those who may not be authorized to pick up campers. We do a health screening. So we, per state licensing requirements, need to have all campers undergo a health check upon arrival. So we are checking temperature. We're looking for fevers or rashes. We look in the back of the throat to see if anything looks inflamed. We check the palms of hands and the bottoms of feet for any sores. And we also check for lice. So we're looking for anything communicable to make sure that it doesn't come into camp. We also have a medication drop-off, so the nurse will be available to collect any medications, make sure all of the paperwork matches. All medications that are sent to camp, whether they're prescription, over-the-counter supplements, need to be given to the nurse and need to have proper paperwork in place. There's a medical release form that is listed on the website that I'll show where to access that later in this video, making sure that that is completed by a physician and signed by them. We'll have a spot to learn a little bit about the camp store, which again, I'll talk about in a little bit, and check on account store balances, and then drop off any letters or care packages for the camper. A note about arrival, so that 1:30 to 3 o'clock window is pretty precise. Before that 1:30 time, the gate to our property will be closed and locked as we're getting the site ready for arrival. If folks arrive early, we encourage them to go down the road to Palmer Lake to get some ice cream, take a walk around the lake, and come back once that check-in period has started. We do have some space outside of the gate for cars to park, but don't want to back up onto Highway 105 and cause any traffic issues. And then after 3 o'clock, we'll be getting going with our kind of first day, dividing into cabin groups and getting going with our various rotations to welcome campers to camp. So that 1:30 to 3 o'clock time frame is pretty specific. After going through all of those stations, then campers will head to our sports field, where we'll have several campers, games and activities, arts and crafts supplies, sports balls, etc., for campers to play with and start getting to know their fellow campers before we get going with our day. I do want to note that getting to camp can be a little bit tricky, as we don't have cell service at camp, and maybe 5 minutes in either direction there's not cell service. We encourage folks to start maps going before going out of service, or downloading directions in advance. Also want to note that in the summer, the Larkspur Renaissance Festival is in full swing, and just know that the town of Larkspur sees a large increase in traffic during that time, and encourage folks to factor in extra travel time. Be aware that I-25 does get busy outside of Larkspur, and consider alternatives like Highway 105. Departure will take place on Fridays from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. for overnight camp. Anyone listed as an authorized pickup is permitted to pick up a camper. All pickups must bring a photo ID with them for us to check, and then they'll sign their camper out. During checkout, medications and camp store funds will be returned. Apparel will be available for purchase during checkout as well. Next, to talk about our daily schedule. So Rise and Shine for everybody is at 7 o'clock. Everybody has about 40 or so minutes to get ready for the day before heading out for breakfast, which starts at 8 o'clock, and then we move into our daily activities. We try to prioritize offering campers a lot of opportunities to have a say in their camp experience. One way that we do that is through our camper choice activity blocks. So as you can see, we have 4 camper choice activity blocks, 2 in the morning at 9 o'clock and 10:15, with a snack time in between them. After those first 2 Camper's Choice blocks, we'll have our first free time block of the day, followed by lunch. After lunch is our rest hour, where everyone heads back to their cabins to do a quiet activity in their own bed, hopefully get some rest in during that hottest part of the day. And then after rest hour, we have our additional 2 Camper Choice activities at 2:15 and 4:15, with free time in between. The afternoon free time includes our camp store period, which I'll talk about in just a little bit. After Camper's Choice number 4, we'll have dinner. After dinner, campers divide into their bunk groups and have our Summer Citizens activity, which normally takes only 20 minutes or so of that block, where they're helping cleaning up different areas of camp. Then a little bit of downtime before coming back together for the evening activity. Those evening activities, we do all kinds of fun stuff. We do campfire programs, a carnival, a variety show. The evening activity is camp-wide. The evening activity wraps up a little bit before 9 o'clock, at which point campers and counselors head back to the cabins to get ready for bed and lights out at 10 o'clock. As far as bad weather at camp, which does happen sometimes here in Colorado with thunderstorms in the afternoon, our policy is that we move campers inside if we have lightning within 10 miles of camp and need to stay inside until we've been clear of lightning for 30 minutes. For lightning, or if we have heavy rain, campers will go inside and participate in a separate slate of indoor activities that are specially planned for rain days. So we have an indoor rec room with a ping pong table and foosball tables. We play bingo. We have various arts and crafts activities, wood burning, etc. How do groups work at camp? So outside of cabin time, campers are intermingled. Campers sign up for their own campers' choice activities. They sign up for the morning activities over breakfast and the afternoon activities over lunch, so they can coordinate with friends if they'd like to sign up for the same camper choice activities. And then all of our meals are open seating, so campers can sit where they'd like. Our evening activities are camp-wide, and campers are often intermingled with campers from other bunk groups. On Fridays, we will travel to the Aurora Reservoir for the day to kind of make a lake day for ourselves. Transportation to and from the lake is provided by DCSD Transportation. The reservoir has a roped-in 4 feet deep swim beach. There are lifeguards present at all times. They also have a small playground and some grassy areas. We have designated spaces that campers are permitted to be at the lake and have staff at all of those spaces, as well as the transitional zones. And we take a sack lunch to eat at the lake. As far as food in camp goes, so our chefs are experienced and work really hard to make sure we have plenty of delicious and healthy meals available at camp. We're able to accommodate most food allergies and dietary restrictions. During registration, you had the opportunity to indicate any dietary needs or allergies for your campers that we'll reference. If anything changed after registration before your camper came to camp, or if you have any questions or concerns about meals, you can email our kitchen manager, Kim Wolfram, whose email is at the bottom of the screen here. We are a nut-aware facility, so we don't serve any food with nuts or nut oils in them. We may serve items that are processed in facilities where nuts are processed. If we know we have folks with sensitive nut allergies, we will make sure to have alternatives that were processed in separate facilities. Our ultimate goal is to make sure that campers are fed. We try to serve food items that are kid-friendly, that kids enjoy. We typically hear great things about our food, but we train our staff to keep an eye on what campers are eating. If they notice folks seem to not be liking a specific meal, after trying a few bites of it, we are able to offer alternatives like a quesadilla or a sandwich, that type of thing. Our cabins, we have 2 large cabins that are separated by gender. So we have a boys' cabin and a girls' cabin. Each cabin has 4 smaller bunk rooms within it that sleep 10 to 14 people. Each bunk room has a counselor that is assigned to stay in it and kind of supervise and monitor that room. Bunk rooms are assigned based on campers' age, typically. So we'll often have a bunk of 9 and 10-year-olds, a bunk of 11 and 12-year-olds, etc. We do our best to accommodate bunkmate requests that were shared during registration, and most often are able to accommodate those requests. If a request is made for campers that are different ages and would be in different bunk rooms, our policy is to bunk down, meaning we would put the older camper in the bunk room of the younger camper's age rather than moving the younger camper up. All of our cabins have electricity, heat, and running water. They also have single-use bathrooms and showers with locking doors. And as that rule of 3 was mentioned before, our expectation is that only one camper is behind a door at any time. Wondering what to pack for camp. So the packing list is on our website. So if you go to the summer camp drop-down menu and select overnight camp, and then scroll down the page, there will be a spot that mentions the Enrolled Families Hub, and then the packing list is linked there. And we ask that you follow the packing list closely. The things that are on that list are things that campers will use over the course of the week at camp. Do want to note that closed-toed shoes are required at camp when out walking around. Crocs don't count as closed-toed shoes. Campers are welcome to wear Crocs in the cabins and can also wear them to the lake, but those are the only situations where campers are permitted to wear Crocs while they're at camp. We strongly encourage that campers' items are labeled with their names or initials. It's very frequent that we have lost items at camp. We have a lost and found bin and regularly are trying to find the owners of those items. But names or initials noted on things makes it much easier to return items to the camper that lost them. Campers should bring their own bedding. It's up to you what you want that bedding to look like. Our beds in our cabins are twin-sized beds. A lot of campers will bring a sleeping bag or a fitted sheet and a blanket, or a fitted sheet and a sleeping bag. You know your camper best and how they might sleep best, and so encourage you to find some combination that works for them. Also want to note while talking about packing that we do have laundry available on site, but typically only use it for emergency situations. So making sure to send your camper with enough changes of clothes to last for the week is helpful. There are some items that we consider contraband and ask that campers don't bring to camp with them. No weapons should be sent to camp, including pocket knives or lighters. Food should not be sent to camp. We're providing campers with breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, desserts. Any excess food will be collected if it is sent to camp, just so we're not attracting any critters into the cabins. We are tech-free as a camp, so campers should not bring electronics with them. Please don't send phones, MP3 players, electronic readers, anything like that. Smartwatches are permitted so long as the Wi-Fi capabilities are turned off. And then any medications that are not with the nurse are considered contraband at camp and shouldn't be sent. A common question that comes up is how homesickness is dealt with at camp. It's a very normal experience, something that we do see at camp. So we train our staff to recognize and navigate homesickness. We try to keep our schedule pretty busy to help negate downtime when homesickness does sometimes crop up, but it of course comes up. Our staff is trained to process the experience with the camper and kind of help them as they move through it. Generally, our policy is that we don't allow phone calls home, as that can often make the situation worse. That said, there are definitely instances where that may happen if that is determined as the best course of action. As you prepare your camper, focus on how excited you are for their camp experience and to hear about their adventures, really trying to have that positive framing of really excited to hear about your trip rather than expressing how much you miss them or how much the dog misses them, can help keep homesickness from setting in. Water and sunscreen, another hot ticket item at camp. Water intake is highly stressed and monitored by staff. We expect campers to have their water bottle with them at all times. And if they forget or lose their water bottle, we have loaner water bottles that we can give them just to make sure they're staying hydrated. We have insulated water jugs spread throughout camp so that waters can be filled over the course of the day. Sunscreen application is also highly stressed and monitored by staff. Camp staff carry sunscreen that can be given to campers if permission was given during registration. Staff can help with application of sunscreen if necessary, but often campers are very able to take care of that on their own. Camper mail. So each day during free time, mail will be passed out in the camper cabins ready for them when they return after dinner. As mentioned, we don't allow cell phones or phone calls typically with campers. Exceptions to that might be if there's an emergency, of course, or if it's a camper celebrating a birthday while they're at camp. That said, we do encourage communication from families. There are a few options. So snail mail is an option, making sure to send it early to ensure it's delivered on time to camp. We also have an email address set up, mail@stonecanyonedge.org, that will be emailed to you at the start of the camper's session that mail can be sent for the camper. We ask that you limit to one email per camper per day. And so if you have several people that are trying to send letters to a camper, consolidating them into the same message, just so we can avoid printing massive amounts of emails for campers would be appreciated. You can also bring pre-written letters and care packages to camper arrival to be passed out. We will have a section during checkout for those things to be dropped off. Dropped off items should include the camper's name and the day that you would like them to be delivered on them. While one small care package is permitted per camper per week, we ask that you keep it moderately sized, just for the sake of storage on our end, we don't have room to have 60 packages, large packages for campers. No food is permitted in care packages. We often see care packages that have activity books or photos or journals. Those are all great things to send to a camper. Campers can write letters back, so be sure to send envelopes and letter writing materials and stamps if you want that to be the case. We will do our best to help them with addressing their envelopes, but if you want them pre-addressed, that is an option as well. Next, I wanted to talk about medications at camp a little bit. So there is a nurse at camp 24/7. The nurse has a radio on them at all times and is ready to respond to anything that may come up with campers. We also have an infirmary building with several indoor spaces that campers can rest in if they're not feeling well, if they need to take an activity off just to get a little bit of rest and then resume activities. Medications and supplements need to be in their original packaging with the dosage clearly labeled on them. If it's a prescription, it needs to be in that original prescription bottle with the prescription label on it. This is all per our licensing. We are not permitted to administer any medications that don't come in their original packaging with the dosage clearly labeled. Campers will be escorted to the nurse for medications to be administered, or the nurse will come find them to administer it. So we typically have a group of campers that goes and sees the nurse each morning, and then a group that sees the nurse at night if they have regular meds that they take at morning or night. If campers have a scheduled med outside of those timeframes, the nurse will find them and administer it to them. If campers need a med as needed, if they are getting a headache and need a over-the-counter, the camper should let their counselor know, and the counselor will radio the nurse to coordinate making sure that that student gets the camper gets the medication. We do have a camp supply and standing orders of a few medications. We have Tylenol, ibuprofen, Benadryl, burn cream, Calagel, which is an anti-itch gel, cough drops, Tums, and Zyrtec. When you registered your camper, you were able to indicate if you gave permission for some or all of those medications. If you did grant permission for that, there is no need to send your own stock of those over the counters. We have them and are able to give them to the camper. A medical release form needs to be submitted for any medications that are being sent to camp. So again, prescription, over-the-counter supplements, we are not able to give any medications unless you gave permission during registration for those medications I listed previously, or if you sent a medication, we need a medication release form for that. The camp store will take place each afternoon from 3:15 to 4:15 p.m. during free time. We have a variety of snack and candy options for campers that cost $2 each. That includes Gatorade, ice cream bars and popsicles, a variety of candy, some salty snacks. Apparel can also be ordered in advance of camp and is available for purchase during camp store. As far as apparel goes, it is available to see on our website, but we have everything from stickers to water bottles, hats, sweatshirts. Prices are listed on our website. We do keep an eye on what campers are purchasing to kind of encourage them to make their camp store account money last for the week. And we also have a limit on how many items can be purchased per day. We don't allow more than 2 sweet snacks each day during camp store. Any camp store account money that is less than $5 is not refundable, but anything above that amount can be refunded at the end of the week. It also can be applied towards purchasing apparel that is available at checkout. To set up a camp store account, again, on the main page of our website, there is an apparel drop-down menu, and when you click into that, there will be an option set up that indicates camp store account, and you can buy in $5 increments. All camp store accounts do need to be set up online. We will not accept any cash at camp. You'll receive an email indicating how to do it in advance of camp, and we'll also have an informational sheet at check-in that you can take home with you. Last, wanted to touch on required paperwork. So per our licensing regulations, all campers are required to have a health physical form and a current immunization record. So the physical form can be on any form and needs to be current within the last 12 months. The immunization record specifically needs to be on the Colorado Certificate of Immunizations form and signed by a physician. Both of those documents are linked on our website. The medication release is only required if medications are being sent to camp. So if you're not sending any medications with your camper, no need to have that medication release form filled out. Ideally, forms are uploaded to Active 1 week prior to camp, just so we're able to look through them and make sure we have the proper paperwork. We can also accept physical copies of the forms at check-in if needed. To find the required paperwork on the website, you'll go to the summer camp drop-down menu, select overnight camp, and click the Enrolled Families hub. From there, you can scroll down to find required paperwork, and there are links to each of the paperwork documents. If you have questions at any time, please reach out. We're here to help and answer your questions. You can reach me at summercamp@stonecanyonedge.org. We're really looking forward to the summer. Hope that this video helped you and your camper feel prepared, and are very excited to meet everybody. Thank you.